Hello, and welcome back to English Active Listening. It's so good to have you here. Today, we're going to dive deep into a topic that I know so many of us can relate to: the journey to becoming a truly confident English speaker. Have you ever been in a situation where you had a brilliant thought, a clever point to make, or a story you were excited to share, but the words just vanished? It's like your brain is a bustling city of ideas, but your mouth is a road that's suddenly closed. That little whisper of fear, that tiny bit of self-doubt, is enough to make you hold back, to simply nod along and smile, pretending you understood everything perfectly. If that sounds like you, I want you to know you are absolutely not alone. This is not a sign of weakness. It's a sign that you care deeply about being understood and respected. But that struggle doesn't have to define your experience. The great news is, becoming a confident English speaker isn't about achieving some impossible level of perfection. It's not about a flawless accent or knowing every single word in the dictionary. It's about being able to express yourself, to connect with people, and to feel a sense of freedom when you open your mouth. It's about finding your unique voice and sharing it with the world. Today, we're going to give you a comprehensive, detailed blueprint, a step-by-step guide filled with practical strategies, real-world examples, and human-like expressions to help you on this journey. This isn't just a lesson. It's a complete framework for building your confidence, brick by brick, in a way that feels natural and, most importantly, effective. Before we even get to a single spoken word, we must first address what's going on inside your head. Your mindset is the absolute foundation of your confidence. Think about it. If you're constantly worried about making mistakes, you'll never feel free to speak. It's like trying to run a race with your shoelaces tied together. The first and most crucial step is to untie those laces. We need to completely banish the perfection myth. This is the idea that you have to sound like a native speaker, or a movie star, or a news anchor to be considered a good English speaker. This simply isn't true. Let me tell you a secret. Even native speakers make mistakes. They pause to think. They use filler words like and like. They sometimes mispronounce words, and they might forget a word entirely in the middle of a sentence. Their goal is not to be perfect. Their goal is to communicate. Your goal should be the same. Give yourself permission to be imperfect. Embrace your mistakes not as failures, but as a sign that you are trying, that you are learning, and that you are growing. Let's reframe our perception of a mistake. Instead of seeing it as something embarrassing, see it as a piece of valuable information. When you say something incorrectly, don't feel ashamed. Just think to yourself, okay, that's how I shouldn't say it. How can I say it better next time? This simple shift in thinking from self-criticism to curiosity is a powerful mind hack. It stops the cycle of self-doubt and replaces it with a growth-oriented perspective. Your mistakes are not a reflection of your intelligence. They are a necessary part of the learning process. It's the difference between a student who gives up after a wrong answer and a scientist who learns from a failed experiment. You are the scientist of your own language learning. Every time you try and it doesn't come out perfectly, you are gathering data, learning what works and what doesn't. This mindset also helps you to be more forgiving of yourself, which is a core component of building resilience and, ultimately, confidence. Remember, the journey is filled with stumbles, but those stumbles are what teach you to walk and, eventually, to run. Now that we've established a healthy mindset, let's move on to the easiest, most accessible practice you can do. You don't need a partner, a teacher, or a special class. You just need yourself. I want you to start talking to yourself. Yes, out loud. This might feel a little strange at first, but trust me, it's a game changer. This is your private practice lab where you can experiment without any pressure or judgment. The beauty of this technique is that you can do it anywhere. As you're getting ready in the morning, you can narrate your actions. I'm brushing my teeth. The water is running. I am putting on my shirt. It's a blue shirt. As you're cooking dinner, you can describe the process. I am chopping the onion. The knife is sharp. The pan is on the stove. I am adding some oil. You're literally building muscle memory and getting your brain and mouth used to working together in English. Let's try a small exercise right now. Look around you and describe what you are doing in this very moment. Maybe you're sitting in a chair. You could say, I am sitting in a soft chair. I am listening to this program. I am holding my phone. The sentences don't have to be complicated. The goal is to get the words flowing. This practice helps you connect English words to the real world, to the objects and actions in your daily life, building a strong, practical bridge between your thoughts and spoken language. By doing this, you're making English a part of your daily routine, not just a subject you study. This low-stakes repetition is crucial because it reduces the mental effort required to form sentences. You're moving from consciously thinking about every word to more automatic fluid speech. It's like practicing a sport alone before playing with a team. You build the fundamental skills in a safe space. This is where you can try out new words and phrases you've learned without the fear of judgment, solidifying them in your memory and making them available for future use in real-time conversations. A truly confident speaker is also an excellent listener. Listening isn't a passive activity. It's an active one that helps you internalize the natural rhythm, intonation, and flow of English. When you listen, you're not just hearing words. You're hearing how they fit together, where the pauses are, and how the tone of voice changes the meaning. A very powerful and effective technique for this is called shadowing. Find a short clip of a podcast, a YouTube video, a movie scene, or even a news report that you enjoy. First, listen to it once to get the general idea. Then listen to it again, but this time, try to say the words at the exact same time as the speaker. Don't worry about being perfect. The goal is to match their speed and their intonation as closely as you can. It's like a workout for your mouth and your ears working together. You're teaching yourself how the sounds feel and how they should be produced. Let's try a quick shadowing exercise with me. I'm going to say a simple sentence, and I want you to try to repeat it right after me, trying to match my tone and rhythm. Ready? The weather is beautiful today. Good. Let's try another one. I am excited to learn new things. If you do this for just 5 to 10 minutes a day, you will start to internalize the natural sounds of English, and you'll feel the difference. This practice is so effective because it bypasses the need for you to consciously think about grammar rules. You are learning through imitation, just like a child learns their first language. You are training your ear to recognize the correct sounds and your mouth to produce them. Think of the flow of a sentence, the way certain words are emphasized, and the natural rise and fall of a native speaker's voice. Shadowing helps you absorb these elements, making your own speech sound more natural and less robotic. It's a fantastic way to improve your pronunciation and your overall fluency without a single grammar lesson. Many of us have a good passive vocabulary. This means we can understand a lot of words when we read or hear them. But the real challenge is moving those words into our active vocabulary, the words we can actually use on the fly when we're speaking. It's the difference between knowing a word and truly owning it. The key here isn't to learn 100 new words a day. That's simply overwhelming and ineffective. The key is to learn a few words and actually use them. Here's a simple process. Choose one new word you want to learn each day. Let's pick the word determined. Don't just write down the definition. Create a simple, personal sentence with it. For instance, I am determined to become a confident English speaker. Then try to use that word at least 3 times throughout your day. Maybe you talk to yourself, I'm determined to finish my work today. Or you tell a friend, she seems very determined to succeed. This practice of active recall and repetition is what makes a word stick. It moves it from the back of your mind to the front, ready for you to use in a real conversation. This method focuses on depth over breadth, making each new word a permanent part of your verbal toolkit. To take this a step further, don't just rely on a dictionary definition. Look up the word in a thesaurus and see what synonyms are listed. This helps you understand the nuances of the word and how it fits into different contexts. For example, for determined, you might find words like resolute, steadfast, or purposeful. This gives you a richer understanding. Also, try to find the word in a few different example sentences from a reliable source like an online corpus. This shows you how native speakers use the word naturally. For example, you might see, he was determined to win the race, or her determined effort paid off. By seeing the word in action, you're not just memorizing a definition, you're internalizing its usage. This active engagement with the word makes it far more likely to come to mind when you need it in a real-life situation. This is how you bridge the gap from simply knowing a word to truly owning it as part of your everyday speech. So you've been practicing alone, building your foundation. Now it's time to bring in the human element. The best way to build confidence is to have real conversations. I know this can feel like the most intimidating part. But let's start small and with a strategic approach. Look for low-pressure environments and partners. This could be a friendly neighbor, a colleague you trust, or a language exchange partner you meet online. The goal isn't to have a perfect formal debate. The goal is simply to make a connection. Start with easy, open-ended questions like, "How was your weekend?" or "What did you have for lunch?" The key is to get comfortable with the natural back and forth of a real conversation. Let's practice some simple conversation starters. I'm going to say a sentence, and I want you to imagine you are answering. Don't worry about having a perfect answer. Just let the words flow. Imagine I'm asking you, "Hey, how are you today?" And now, what did you do last night? The most important part of this is to focus on what you want to say, not on the grammar rules. As long as the other person understands you, you've succeeded. The fluency and accuracy will come naturally with time and practice. Remember, every conversation, no matter how short or simple, is a victory. To make these conversations even more effective, try to focus on asking follow-up questions. This shows genuine interest and keeps the conversation flowing naturally. For example, if your partner says, "I went to the park on the weekend," you could ask, "Oh, which park did you go to?" Or, "Was it a sunny day?" This moves the conversation beyond a simple exchange of information and into a more dynamic and engaging dialogue. The more you practice asking and answering these kinds of questions, the more comfortable you will become in a real conversation. Let's be realistic. Conversations aren't always going to be smooth. You're going to make mistakes and have awkward pauses. This is completely normal, and it's a part of the process. How you handle these moments is key to maintaining your confidence. When you make a mistake, don't stop and apologize profusely. Just correct yourself quickly and move on. For example, if you accidentally say, "I go to the store yesterday," you can simply correct it by saying, "Oh, I mean, I went to the store yesterday." And then just keep talking. The other person probably didn't even notice. Your fluency and your ability to keep the conversation moving are far more important than your perfection in that moment. Dwelling on a mistake only makes you feel more self-conscious. And what about those awkward pauses? When you can't find a word, don't panic. You can use simple phrases that buy you a moment of time, like, "Oh, what's the word?" Or, "Let me think for a second." This shows the other person that you are trying, and they will almost always be patient and understanding. It's so much better than just stopping and shutting down. It's a confident way to handle a momentary lapse. To make these moments even less stressful, try to have a few of these time-buying phrases ready in your mind. You can also use nonverbal cues to show you're still thinking, like a small gesture or a simple, This keeps the flow of the conversation from completely breaking down. Think of these moments not as failures, but as opportunities to practice your conversational repair skills. It's a skill that native speakers use all the time, and learning to do it gracefully is a huge step toward feeling truly confident. You can turn your home into your own personal English lab. You have the power to create a rich English environment right where you are. You can make English a natural and constant part of your life, not just something you study in a textbook. A great way to do this is through media. Listen to English music and try to look up the lyrics. Watch English language movies and TV shows with subtitles. Or even try to change the language settings on your phone or computer to English. This constant exposure, even if it's passive, is crucial for building familiarity with the language. One of my favorite tips is to keep a small journal. Every day, just write a few simple sentences in English about your day. It doesn't have to be a masterpiece. It can be as simple as, "Today I felt happy. I ate a delicious sandwich for lunch. I talked to my friend." This connects your writing and thinking, and it's a non-intimidating way to practice expressing yourself in a different format. This small daily habit builds your fluency over time. To make this even more engaging, try to use your journal as a way to practice the words you're learning. For example, if your word for the day is determined, you can write, "I am determined to get better at writing my journal in English." Another idea is to write a short paragraph describing a picture or an object in your room. For example, "This is my favorite coffee mug. It's blue and white, and it has a little picture of a cat on it. It makes me happy every morning." This practice forces you to think in English and to find the words you need to describe the world around you. It's a powerful tool for solidifying your language skills outside of conversation. When you feel pressure to speak faster, Remember the 3 S's: simple, slow, and strategic. First, keep it simple. You don't need to use complex sentences and big words to sound intelligent. In fact, simple, clear sentences are much more effective and easier to say. It's better to say, "I like the color blue," than to stumble over a complex, grammatically perfect sentence. Second, slow down. When you speak slower, you give your brain precious time to find the right words, to formulate your sentences, and to articulate your thoughts more clearly. It reduces the pressure and helps you sound more thoughtful and deliberate. Speaking slower is a sign of confidence, not weakness. Think of it as driving a car carefully rather than speeding and crashing. Third, be strategic. You don't have to talk about everything. If you're in a conversation and someone asks you a question about a topic you don't know well, you can strategically shift the conversation. You might say, "That's an interesting question. I don't know much about that, but I just read a fascinating article about." This is a confident and intelligent way to steer the conversation to a place where you feel more comfortable and knowledgeable. To elaborate on being strategic, you can also prepare a few go-to phrases for common situations. For example, if you're in a meeting and someone asks for your opinion, you can have a few phrases ready like, "That's a good point. I'd like to think about it more." Or, "I agree with person's name on that, and I'd like to add." This gives you a moment to collect your thoughts and respond confidently. Being strategic is not about avoiding the conversation. It's about navigating it in a way that shows your intelligence and keeps you in control. It's a skill that even native speakers use to manage conversations effectively. Confidence is not a destination, it's a journey. And on this journey, every step, no matter how small, is a victory that deserves to be celebrated. Did you ask for directions in English today? Celebrate that. Did you use a new word you learned in a real conversation? Fantastic. Did you speak for a full minute without stopping? That's a huge win. Keep a small notepad or a note on your phone where you write down these victories. Reading them back will remind you of how far you've come. This isn't about bragging, it's about building a positive feedback loop in your brain. You're telling yourself, "I am doing it. I am getting better." This positive reinforcement is crucial for maintaining your motivation and continuing to push forward. To make this celebration more tangible, try to set a small, achievable goal for yourself each week. For example, this week I will have one 5-minute conversation in English. When you achieve that goal, you can reward yourself. Maybe that means watching an episode of your favorite show or enjoying a nice cup of coffee. The reward doesn't have to be big. It just needs to be something that makes you feel good about your progress. This system of setting goals, achieving them, and rewarding yourself is a proven method for building habits and staying motivated. It turns the long, difficult journey into a series of manageable, rewarding steps. You're not just waiting for the day you become a perfect speaker. You're enjoying and celebrating every step of the process. I want to leave you with one final and perhaps the most important thought. Your voice is unique. The way you speak English, with your own accent, your own rhythm, and your own way of phrasing things, is part of your identity. It tells a story of your background, your culture, and your incredible journey. Don't try to erase that. Embrace it. Think of all the incredible people around the world who speak English as a second language, from political leaders to artists to entrepreneurs. Their accents and rhythms are a part of what makes them so interesting and so powerful. Your accent isn't something to be ashamed of. It's a badge of honor that shows you are a person of the world. It shows that you have learned another language, and that is a truly amazing thing. So let's recap our comprehensive blueprint for confidence. Shift your mindset, talk to yourself, be an active listener, build your active vocabulary, find low-pressure partners, deal with mistakes gracefully, create your own English lab, use the 3 S's, and celebrate your small wins. The journey to becoming a confident English speaker starts right now with one small step, one kind thought, and one sentence spoken out loud. I know you can do it. You have the desire, you have the potential, and now you have the blueprint. The world is waiting to hear what you have to say. Thank you for joining me, and good luck.